I always said that I would go back to college once my kids graduated from high school. And when they graduated from high school, we moved outside of the bigger town that we were living in to just a very small town of about 2,500 people. I went back to school, was in school for 4 years. And since we had moved, we'd started going to a lot of auctions and just to furnish our house because we had a bigger space than what we had had before. And we started buying up all this furniture just because it was so inexpensive at auctions. So we would see like hutches going for $50 and whole 8-piece dining sets, 9-piece dining sets going for $100. And so we started buying things, and our guest rooms was filled up, our garage was filled up. So with no experience, no expertise, just no past knowledge of former knowledge of painting furniture, I just started learning, watching a lot of videos, being very much self-taught through trial and error. Had lots of it would just like one piece would take me many weeks or several months to do, and I wasn't doing it a lot, just kind of in between classes. And then my husband said, you're going to have to start selling this furniture because we don't have room in our home to keep holding it. And yet we were continuing to go by because we loved doing it and it was so cheap. And so we opened up a small shop, and that led to another small shop in our local area, which was a very rural area. And then 2020 hit and everything just stopped. And we opened up our first shop in March of 2020 and everything just stopped. So I created an Etsy shop, or I tried to create an Etsy shop, and I got frustrated with just trying to figure out how to do it. So I left it alone for a few months, and things still remain slow because it was 2020 and people weren't getting out. And I decided in the 1st of June of that year to try again. I just pushed through till I figured it out. I'm not very tech savvy, so it took me a while, but I figured it out. I listed an armoire that I couldn't sell locally. I thought it was a beautiful, just painted white armoire with some light blue pickling, and I couldn't sell it locally for $300. Once I put it on Etsy, it sold in about 3 weeks for $1,400. And we're like, okay, we're going to figure out how to do shipping. So we figured it out. We packed up that armoire just like it was packed up tighter than Fort Knox. And we way overpacked it, but that's okay because we were learning. So we shipped it to San Francisco, and the customer absolutely loved it. She bought it for her aging mom who had moved in with them. And so then I created another piece and another piece. And so from 2020 to 2025, we have shipped armoires and hutches and all types of cabinets and large furniture to 46 states. And in doing this, one of the things that I've realized is a lot of people think it's just such a scary situation to ship furniture, but it's actually pretty easy. I've heard people say, oh, it's the hardest thing that I do. I don't feel that way at all. It's not the hardest thing that I do. The hardest thing I do is, deciding what design I'm going to paint and then finishing up and checking all the details on a piece. And so this piece that I'm working on here, it was shipped to me from a customer in Arizona. It was all brown. She'd had it in her home for over 30 years, and she wanted it to have like a refresh makeover. And so it's an Italian knockdown armoire, and it just was showing signs of age, and it's just faded finish, and she wanted it refreshed. So that's what I'm doing. She shipped it to me, and I had it for several weeks, painted it, and then my shipper came and we shipped it back to her. So I would say this, like this side job, it turned into my career, and it turned into just that so many possibilities. There's been brand deals, and I've been able to teach courses and just hold some painting classes and all different types of, opportunities that have come our way and allowed us to move. We moved even to a smaller community out in very rural Missouri, and about a 33-acre farm where we're filling it up with animals and gardens, and just really having the freedom to go and see relatives and to live with a schedule that gives us the freedom to do what we want, and to invest in things and people that are important to us. So I would tell somebody who is thinking about doing this that the furniture redesign, painting, flipping, restoring industry is not going to go down. It's only going to grow. We've seen it grow and grow and grow. And the personalized, custom furniture, people are taking in the past 10 years their spaces to a whole new level of just being more unique to them. When I grew up in the 80s and 90s, I would see, in 70s, I would see like all the homes were sets where everything matched. You would just go to a big box furniture store, or you would order from the Sears catalog, and you would order a sofa and a chair and a love seat and two, end tables and a coffee table that matched, and you would get all this decor that was mass produced and hanging on your walls. And people are getting so far away from doing that. They're picking out, and very few people painted wood. Then more people. It wasn't as common as it is now. It does go through stages, but people really love the customization, unique spaces, and having access to the internet to get all these ideas and all these inspirations is really making people be a lot more adventurous and experimental in how they're designing their spaces, and they're embracing DIY and upcycling. And it is such an enormous benefit to people. Say, well, you ruin wood when you paint it. Paint protects the wood. And when these pieces sit unwanted in stores, or they're in somebody's garage for years, it doesn't do any justice to the piece, but it does do justice to it when it's painted or refinished in a way that a customer loves and it's used and appreciated in their home. To me, that's a big deal. And it also is super friendly for the environment because you're not using the energy, you're not cutting down more trees, you're repurposing something, you're upcycling something, and give it a new life from what it was before, and you're not filling up landfills and stuff like that. And it's cutting down on a lot of waste. So there's so many benefits to it. And if you've thought about doing this and you're wanting to know, can it really be a career? It absolutely can be a career. I believe that within 1 year's time, if you are very consistent in what you do, and if you embrace organic marketing through social media, and you begin to be just a serious self-learner, both when it comes to painting and when it comes to learning how to organically market your furniture and your pieces, then it absolutely can be a full-time career for you within 1 year. My 3 top biggest tips is don't overbuy, buy a few pieces at a time, sell on platforms like Etsy, but also sell from your own social media. And I'm not talking about selling on Facebook Marketplace. I don't sell on Facebook Marketplace. I will buy from Facebook Marketplace and auctions and estate sales, but Facebook Marketplace is like a garage sale online. That's where people people go there to get garage sale type deals, not to pay $2, $3, $4, $5, $6,000 for a piece. And so I've sold multiple pieces for 5, 6, 7, even 8,000. I think my highest hutch went for $8,500, but there's multiple armoires gone for several $1,000s, and dressers for $2,000 and $3,000. And people think I even sold one chair for $500, one painted little spindle chair. And people think there's no way people would pay that for that. But custom furniture that's high quality, that's, artisan painted, they appreciate that. And they will sometimes design their whole homes around it or their spaces, or they love the hunt of looking for something that a good artist to work with, or just a piece that really speaks to them for their unique space. And so, yes, you can make a career doing this. I think you can do it within 1 year if you're serious about it. But what if you already have a job, or, if your spouse works, but you don't, but you want some part-time income? This is an amazing part-time income. There also comes monetization through Facebook and YouTube and different areas, just contributes to having more levels of income stream. And that's a good thing to embrace. I would tell people, don't overbuy. If you open up like an Etsy platform, that I would get 10 pieces available for sale as quickly as you can. Because if you just got 1 or 2 pieces in your shop, people are not going to take you very seriously. But if you start working up, or if you have 10 or more, then they will start taking you more seriously. It looks like you're committed and serious about your business, and you're continuing to produce and put things out, and they're going to follow you, see what else you may have. So those are 2 tips. And then my third tip is to embrace videos and reels. And, that is the type of content that is going to help to sell your furniture, your services, and it's going to be what leads to potentially having brand deals and, to be monetized. And those are really nice extra income streams. And then last but not least, consider taking on custom orders, but write out a contract, write out a sheet. On my custom orders, I let people know this is how long it's going to take. And, if I have to find the piece and then refinish it, I'll put that it'll take anywhere from 2 to 4 months. Just depends on the style of the piece that they want, how they want it painted. I make sure that I give myself plenty of room to make sure that I can get just exactly what they want. So I let my customers know this is how much it's going to cost. It's going to be 50 to 60% down, depending on the piece. This is the timeline. And then before it ships to you, the remaining payment will be done. And I go on and on. Like, in the contract, this will be a vintage piece with imperfections, but all parts will work well and it will be solid. And so taking on custom orders has been about 60% of my revenue stream through the furniture sales, because people have an idea in mind. They're like, hey, I love this style armoire that you did, the structure of this, but this is in blue, and my space isn't blue, it's more in the green side. Can you find me one like that last one you did and make it more in a kind of a soft green color? And I'm like, sure. And so I take the deposit and then I go get busy looking for it. And that's just the basics in a nutshell of how a custom order works. It works out great for you, great for the customer, and you have the freedom to be able to improve or increase or add to your household income. Also doing something creative, and it opens up all of these possibilities. So if you're thinking about, should this be the year that I take this step, I say go for it. And the best way to learn is start painting on something. Get some nightstands or small accent tables and paint on them an hour or 2, step away. Learn slowly, because you're not going into overdrive and overload with all this information you're taking in. Start with one body, one base coat color, and then go and add an accent color. Give it a scuff sanding, clean it well. Use a paint like Rethunk Junk Paint or a chalk paint that doesn't require you to strip it. If you use Rethunk Junk, On most pieces, unless it's a nightstand top or, a tabletop, you won't have to seal it. If you use a chalk or other furniture type of paint, you need to seal it with a wax or Wise House Salve or some nice product like that. But allow yourself to learn on small pieces. Start slowly. Open up your Etsy shop or wherever your platform is going to be, and then begin doing regular content and reels for your business page. So I hope this is helpful. I would love to see you take a step and go for it and just see where the possibilities can lead.